Hi everybody, welcome back to probably my last Asus non-extreme ROG Ally Z1 sort of gameplay video that I'm going to be doing for a while. This won't be my last ROG Ally video because obviously when I'm making my videos I kind of then don't release them in order. But what we're doing in this one is we're looking at Forza Horizon 4, the one that's set in the UK. Because this is an amazing example of how beautiful the variable refresh rate screen is and how fantastically smooth it makes games. Remember, this is the non-extreme version of the Ally. We're running in handheld mode. We knock it down to 720p, 60 Hz, and we're getting around about 60 frames a second out of this game, and it looks and runs so well. Now you have to forgive me because I've managed to smash up my windscreen. In fact, I'll tell you what we'll do, although I don't normally, let me just hold this properly so I can do it. Let's go to, say, that view there. There's that view. What's the best one? There we go. Right, so we're gonna go around, and this runs so well. My gosh, it makes me want to play. I'm not a big fan of racing games anymore. I guess the last one I was really into was Gran Turismo 2 on the PlayStation. Was it Gran Turismo 2 on the PlayStation 2? I think played a lot of that. And to be honest, I played a bit of Forza Horizon when it first came out because it's on Game Pass, and this is a Game Pass game that I have installed on my ROG Ally, which is one of the beauties of this Windows-based gaming PC over a Steam Deck, and the fact that you can install Game Pass games on it, which you can't really do on a Steam Deck unless you do kind of a dual boot system. Or if you just stream the games. I'm in my little Ford Escort, so what we've got to do, turn left in a little bit. So in Forza, what you have to do is you have to drive in between the races, and I didn't really like that when it came out. I was like, oh, this is a bit crap, I just want to race. But actually this is an awful lot of fun. Now I've got to be careful because my phone can only record for, in fact, I tell you what, let's go to this view so you can see more of the English countryside. And if you're not from England or the UK, this is actually quite a good representation of what sort of A roads are like in the English countryside. Particularly, it's a bit of a cross between kind of Hampshire, where it's kind of very green, and somewhere like Yorkshire, where you have the dry stone walls, which are the rocky walls. You don't really get dry stone walls in the south of England that much because there's not that many rocks just hanging around. But generally, the south of England is very green, you know, in terms of the types of farms we have, and the road markings, and you know, all the signs and everything are pretty cool. Don't have that many windmills, but there is a windmill not that far from where I live actually. So you know, they are there. I do find it really. Ooh, it is funny the fact that you have all your I can't remember what they call them. Are they drivatars, aren't they? You know, people in your Xbox friends list are driving around in other cars, which I guess is their cars from. Yeah, that's. Woo! Here we go. Look how smooth this. You know, see, we're getting 60 frames a second. No worries at all. Looks absolutely great. The old bonnet cam view. Woo! Yeah, I mean, this looks like a typical Hampshire village around here. Okay, so I think we're going to do a race now. Yep, we'll still use the Cozzy. We're at 15 watts TDP. Haven't got like the CPU boost on, just using the recommended game settings. But again, one of the things I do with the ROG Ally non-extreme version is I do run it at 720p at 60 Hz, just to get that nice performance out of it.
You ready? Ready? Let's do this!
Right, here we go. Guess this is going to be a nighttime race.
Oh, it's you. You made it.
Oh, it's you.
Jay, by the way.
Hello, Jay.
Shut up about you, you know. If you drive half as well as he says you can. These guys will love you. Oh, before we start, you've got to know this isn't strictly sanctioned by the festival. Just don't mention this to Kira, alright?
What?
I gotta go.
In it?
Work to do.
What is that thing in front? Is that a MIDI?
These might not be official, but you keep coming to these meets. I'll make sure everyone at Horizon knows your name. Looking forward to seeing what you can do out there. Have fun now, yeah?
Ooh. Oh, my windscreen's fixed. Excellent. Right, let's go to this view. I quite like this. So just keep an eye on the FPS counter in the top right hand corner while I try and not be last. Remember, unfortunately, you can't. At the moment, you can't buy the non-extreme version of the ROG Ally in the UK. I know the full price ROG Ally has gone down in price a little bit. I think it's $550 now, down from I think that they were like $600, weren't they? I think. But you can buy the non-extreme version of the Z1 Ally in America at Best Buy for $400, which I think is a bit of a bargain. And I have recently done a video where I kind of say, look, if you're on a real budget and you want to get into PC gaming, this may well be your option, because underneath the hood, well, you know, underneath the game, this is a fully fat Windows 11 PC. This looks amazing, doesn't it? So smooth. I love this. I'm going to be playing more of this game. Woohoo! Oh, Robin's racing, my friend. Apologies. Whoa! Going a bit sideways. I love the fact the road markings are British road markings as well. Let's get a bit of a drift on into the bushes. Hopefully we won't hit a tree. Take him on the outside. I've just got to make sure I don't crash. I think it's quite forgiving, isn't it, the driving model in Forza Horizons. And there we go. How cool is this? I've really come to love the ROG Ally. Asus UK are kind enough to have lent me this for the last few weeks. It really is great. And I think the big problem the ROG Ally had when it came out, that's the full fat version, obviously this version was the SD card. So on the top there's this SD card holder, and because it's on the top, heat comes out of there, because as you can imagine, the computer inside, the APU, the GPU sort of CPU combined, generates a lot of heat when you're running games that are demanding, and that heat tends to come out the top. Now it does have some nice big fans, but what was happening is this heat comes through that hole as well, and what it was doing was basically damaging the SD card reader and the SD cards that are in there, and so there was lots of bad press about that, which I think was a real shame. And I also think it would have really helped if Asus had been a little bit clearer about the delineation between the extreme and the non-extreme version. I mean, I think what they should have done is this version here, the non-extreme version, instead of having the 1080p 120 Hz frame variable refresh screen on it, they should have put a 720p VRR panel on it, so slightly less than the Steam Deck. But that would have mean that they could have released it cheaper, kept everything else the same, 16 gigabytes of RAM, gone with the non-extreme processor. That gives you slightly longer battery life, and it works amazing as a handheld device. And if they could have avoided that problem with the SD cards being melted, then things would have been very, very good indeed, I think, for them. And it would have been clear for people to say, look, this is the 720 version that you can buy for a cheaper price. This is the 1080p version that you can buy for a certain price. Whereas with the Steam Deck, obviously, they delineate the different models through the amount of storage. And obviously, you can buy the old LCD version as well. But yeah, I mean, hopefully that was a good demo of what the ROG Ally can do, how smooth that can be. A great example of an Xbox Game Pass, well, PC game, Xbox Game Pass game playing on the device as well, and just been absolutely a load of fun and running very, very smooth and very, very enjoyable indeed. So anyway, there we go. Hopefully you've found these videos useful, and if you've kind of been in the market for this sort of device, maybe I've kind of made you think a little bit as well, and hopefully just make people think twice about just going straight in for a Steam Deck. And don't get me wrong, the Steam Deck is great. I've got one myself. I think it's a fantastic device, but I think the Steam Deck really is an accessory for someone who already has a gaming PC and a good Steam library. Whereas it could well be that the ROG Ally, you know, is a device for people who want to get into PC gaming, because you really want to have, you know, that not that button, you don't want that button, you know, you really want to have a Windows PC, which you can see here. Anyway, that's enough from me. If you enjoyed the video, hit like, comment, see more, the same, press subscribe, and I will of course see you again soon.